Out of the Blue, a collection of creative writing and artwork by grassroots open writers.
Frozen by Garrett. We all start the same, water droplets suspended in a sunbeam. What makes us different? Our journey. Blown upwards through the clouds, gathering motes of dust, sparkling briefly in the chill of rarefied air, falling again, tumbling, growing exponentially, crystallizing around the nucleus of dust. Once we were fluid, now frozen in form. It's the randomness of experience that makes us unique. But then we land, cold white snow, then we melt and become again the same. We all start the same, from dust we come, to dust we return, suspended in a sunbeam. What makes us different? Life, our journey.
Water Thoughts by Frank Burnham. Water is transparent and very bland to taste, yet it is very important that we rely on it. Imagine what would happen if you were to lose your water supply in your own home. You couldn't make a cup of tea, wash your crockery or launder your clothes, let alone use the bathroom. It is true that we have reservoirs all over the country, but over the years some of them have reported a low level and are in danger of drying out. One other interesting fact is that even though man has landed on the moon and we have satellite pictures of other planets, we still haven't discovered water on any of these planets. The only thing we can depend on is that nature will fight back to preserve plants and trees. Therefore, let us thank God for the rain that falls on this planet, even if it's a thunderstorm. Finally, let us spur a thought for the third world countries that haven't seen rain or water for many years. So let us think again when we next turn the tap on.
River, River by Elizabeth Jury. River, river, flowing smooth, which way are you going? Which way to choose? When you arrive at the intersection, which way to go? In which direction? When I watch you, I get a feeling of calm and peace. I lose myself, a moment's release from the stresses and strains of everyday life. I can forget about my troubles and strife. I can sit here and watch the birds and fish. Patient men wait with rods, hoping to catch a free dish. But before too long, I know I must go and let you carry on wherever your waters flow. Despite the day I have had, I have to smile. It's been nice to unwind with you for a while. You will take it at your own pace. There is no hurry, it's not a race. River, river, running wild, you remind me of when I was a child. Your waters bring a sense of adventure. In such a rush, there is a lot of noise, there is no hush. I sit and watch people ride your waters in their canoes. Rather them than me, one false move and they would lose. I enjoy watching them as they coast. I watch from a distance, I dare not get too close. My life is like you in a way, rushing around, no time to play. I must go on with my life now, but before I leave, for one moment such energy and excitement I can't believe. We must both go on with our fast-paced lives for now, but I know I will come back here somehow.
The Waterfall by Chloe Felt. The waterfall is coming down on the rocks. The mountain goats are scampering down the rocks to get a drink of water. Suddenly, one of them slips down the rocks and lands in the river at the bottom of the waterfall. He can't swim, so the others run down to save him. They get him back to the riverbank, then they all go home for tea together, holding hooves so there are no more accidents.
Turbulent by Sue Rivet. I was 5 when I first saw the sea, vast and expansive, another world for me, white and frothy like snow-peaked mountains, windy and wild. Seedlings drop, apple blossoms scattered on the water. Now gone, memories wander, blown away.
H2O by Stephen Taylor. The most precious commodity on earth is water. The element H2O is complex, life-giving, surrounding us with vibration. The lashing sea beckons the land, laps its shores, recedes into waves, like the sound of rain supporting us in our existence, the ultimate suspension, the delicious refreshment to quench our thirst for life. Water Fountains by Andrew Geiger. There are all different types of fountain. You see them in parks, there are fountains on seafronts, and even some in people's gardens. You can get all different types of fountains in all different types of designs and sizes. You can have basic round fountains with the water spraying out, or you can get fancy fountains. Some fountains are mermaids with the water coming out of her mouth, and the rest of the water spraying around her. Some people have a fountain with stonefish in the water. At the same time, water is spraying out of the fish's mouth. If I had a nice garden, I think I would like to have a nice big fountain with stone squirrels.
My Mind is Blank by Sam Burford. My mind is blank, my imagination feels like a dam has been put in front of it. My thoughts and ideas slowly pool behind the concrete, waiting for it to burst or overflow.
Water by Elizabeth Jory. Water is an essential source. It comes from lakes and rivers, and the sea, of course. We can't do without it, we need it to live. Some have more than others. It's God's gift to give. How much we have depends on the rain. Remember, we need it. It's not always a pain. Everyone needs water in order to survive. With plenty of water, a country will thrive. Some countries have plenty, enough to reserve. Other countries have very little they need to preserve. The lucky ones store it in huge towers. Some people to collect it have to walk for hours. Their countries are so hot and dry, without the cooling effect of water, they would surely die. We shouldn't be selfish. Those countries with water to spare should think of others less lucky than them and share. For it can create problems if you have too much. For if it overflows, it can cause dangerous flooding for people that live on land that is low. It is always handy to have around when you really need a drink, and when you're doing the washing up in the kitchen sink. Everyone needs water, every living thing. For this valuable source, we are all competing. So make sure you preserve water, never waste, for you never know, a time may come when it cannot be replaced.
Around the Water's Edge by Andrew Jeremiah. Starlight shone down from the heavens and lit the ground beneath. Around the water's edge a turgid mound was seen, and in the middle will not be. Some stones are precious, and a throne is magic.
Oh, the Rain by Debbie Phelps. Tell the rain to go away. It's been raining all morning. I've had a soaking already. We all know the rhyme, rain, rain, go away, come back another day. Well, yes, but maybe when I don't have to go out anywhere. Why does it always rain really heavily at 3 p.m. when I have to be at the school gates? Why do people put up umbrellas when it's really windy with the rain? Their brollies turn inside out and they struggle with it. It's funny to watch though. Why does it always rain when the kids are on school holidays? Why does it rain when you're carrying something that needs to be kept dry. It's a shame about the drought.
What Makes Me Unique by James Cooper. What makes me unique? Being very low-key and being very honest.
The Life of the River by Pauline Faulkner. The river meanders on its way through the beautiful Herefordshire Valley, sometimes flowing fast over stones and eddies, then decides to have a rest in a deep pool. Stand on a bridge and quietly stare into the pool. Spot the dancing water beetles and the flight of the beautiful dragonflies, their life so short. A silver streak flashes beneath the water, eager for the burst of the mayfly to come into life. Speed and cunning of the trout to leap from the water and take his morsel of food. The river moves on over a waterfall. This is the home of the king of the river, the salmon. Fishermen stand on its bank casting the flies, trying to outwit him. But he is a very clever fellow. He can see every movement, the shadow of the rod and the line hitting the water. I do not get to this size by getting caught, he says to himself. The pike lies in the shadow, motionless, waiting for his prey to pass by. Eels lie dormant till darkness falls. The life of the river, from its source to its final end, when it reaches the sea, gives us such beauty and tranquility.
Frozen by Ryan Liffen. Trees have been stripped down. Reservoirs have been frozen. This is winter's change.
Water by Tony May. The source of life, it links us all in joint occupation of life's waterfall. Rain and tears flow down our cheeks when moisture leaks, emotion seeps. Amidst blood and sap, water flows for health. Love and beauty equals spiritual wealth. Oh, plunge me deeply into the well, allow my body to in water dwell. When I arise once more to breathe, in the stream of love may I forever dream.
Planet Earth, Water by Josie Lawson. Water is the substance of our being. Without it we wouldn't survive. H2O is the way of the world. Some is kept healthy, some can give disease. The vast emotion of the planet is the salty, calm, rough seas. But then drought appears, hosepipe bans come into force, and then the April showers cause floods, but still the hosepipe ban must continue, as it is obvious drought will stay with us. Yes, water is the substance of our being, so let's help preserve it and keep our world around us safe. Love your water, love your health, and hope our planet will remain safe forever.
Changing by Ryan Liffen. Clouds are watching down as snow crystals are forming. Landscape is changing.
Runaway by Sue Ribet. I sit alone in the rain. This is not a cleansing rain that washes away the insanity of my mind, but a lashing rain that drives deeper into my very being. Real heavy raindrops that drips from my lank hair, the hair that is plastered to my high cheekbones. Cold icy droplets disperse into nothingness. Crowds of people pass me, sheltered beneath colourful umbrellas, others with hoods pulled tightly against their skull, while I alone surrender to the power of the rain. I have no place to call home. I have no other person to hug me, embrace me, to pull me into the world. I am alone, drowning in my thoughts. My back is against a brick wall, my knees huddled into my chest, and still no one glances my way. I feel the rain weave itself through my eyelashes, and I blink to wash away the tears. Puddles form in dips in the uneven surface of the road and pavements. People jump them and dodge them like bombs waiting to explode. My coat is saturated and clings to me like a second skin. It smells of damp and mould, and my feet are numb where the water seeps through the canvas material of my thin shoes. I am invisible. I am drowning in my thoughts, alone.
The Frozen Pond by Mark Crittenden. Skidding about on the frozen pond amongst the now withered reeds is an aged-old tradition of winters past and those of yet to come, where many a jolly face can be seen, gliding about on this glacial feature amongst a blanket of driven whiteness. But divinity will take a sinister yet celestial turn if features are not adhered to, skidding cut abruptly short, now not a jolly face to be seen, down into the aged depths amongst the now withered reeds.
The Ocean by Marie Newman. Ocean, green, blue, glittering, changing, calming, foam, white cap, flood tide, ebb tide, sparkling, surfing, coming, waves.
My Day Out in the 60s by Maria Gethin. It was a summer's day in July and I was 7 years old. In the 1960s we used to have really hot days. My mum, dad, my 2 sisters and my 2 brothers, my mother and father's friends and their families went over the Coombe for a walk. We all had a picnic together on our day out. We walked up and over the steep mountains through the trees on a hot summer's day. And then we walked down to the 7 Hills to go to the Coombe. It was a place where you could sit on the banking and have a picnic and go in the nice cold water to paddle. There were trees around near the waters with flowing streams where the sun shone through the trees. We would all play round us, even the parents. It was great. You didn't need money to enjoy yourselves. We ate crisps, sandwiches and cold drinks. We would stay there for hours, nearly all day. One of the husbands pushed some of the mothers in the water. All us kids were laughing on the banking. They had to wrap large towels around them to dry off and put their clothes on the trees to dry. We used to have great days paddling in the water, and when I grew up, me and my sister used to take our children there. They loved it over the Coombe and going in the water. It was a long day, but it was great from childhood to adult, with my family and friends paddling in the fresh, clean water, running from the mountain stream, shimmering through the trees.
Emotion in the Ocean by Sue Ribet. Clashing, crashing waves, roaring rocks rage, colourful creatures meet waters deep, salty seaweed dancing, golden grains disperse, flicking fish swimming, waving waters weep.
My Water Baptism by Jan Pedger. For far too long I looked for an acceptance and a belonging that evaded me and left me unrewarded and often alone. I wore the wrong shoes. Yet all the time, in the background, something was there. A hidden belief supporting me. I felt it, yet couldn't reach it. But it never let me crumple completely. Then I was blessed with the creativity and inspiration to write poetry, to know the beautiful Amanda, who faced adversity every day with the epilepsy she fell asleep with at the age of 21. To meet and marry my wonderful Nigel here in his church. We were blessed to be married in the fullness of God by the enthusiastic and supportive Ed Jones. All gave and continue to give me strength. But most of all, they led me to know and trust in the one I was seeking, the God of all creation, a God with a heart so full of love, he gave his only Son. It was he who never let me go. It was him who fed me and who waited patiently for me to know him and to say, "Thank you, Lord Jesus, for being in my life." Am I ready for my new shoes and to turn from the wrong path and to seek the forgiveness of your mercy, Lord, in prayer? Yes, I am ready. Am I now ready with these new shoes to walk the learning path, to know better the discipleship of the greatest storyteller and teacher, the Lord Jesus Christ? Yes, with all my heart, I am ready. Within the Veil was played by Nigel Wilkins.
Under the Waterfall by Andrew Jeremiah. Into the sunlight, underneath and behind the waterfall, noisy, warm, humid in air water, condensation hard to breathe, suffocating. Keep near to the wall at the back, keep moving or be left behind, don't lose my place in the queue. Going into the dark cavern beyond the waterfall.
The Sea by Heather Ben. The gulls swept across the sky squawking, like seraphs announcing the dawn of a new day. The sea below mirrored the gulls with the flyaway. Seahorses spluttering onto the beach. The sun was rising with a red fanfare, dissolving the remaining shadows with its startling effervescence. Has the observer looked on at this phenomenon? No one under God's heaven could invent such beauty. The feathery waves rendered a musical symphony, awakening nature to its creation. The tide ebbed and flowed throughout the day, like a bird alighting on the tops of the waves, with the boredom of seeking for food, flying and dipping, flying and dipping. Has the bird so the waves with the same monotony? Then, on the horizon there, a cloud approached, to end the peacefulness of the day. It scudded across the sky was leaden, snuffing out the light. Then came the rain, lashing across the bay. Where was the beauty now? Thunder rolled around like the beginning of war, with its cracks like gunfire and lightning like the flashes of the guns. Now the light had gone, another day over, the sea silvery under the darkening sky. The gulls had gone there to nest, waiting the dawn of another day. The wind arose and whipped the waves like creamy champagne bubbling up, and shooting skywards like the cork has been pulled. The observer takes note of all this, thinks the drama of the elements being played out. The Ocean by Sue Horncastle. The ocean is wild and vast, deep and strong, powerful motions, deep emotions, roller coaster. You can swim and exercise yourself, exercise your body. It's a place to lose yourself.
Smoke Rings in Guernsey by Jan Hedger. The soldier stubbed out the cigarette with the heel of his face-reflecting boots and quietly watched the boy, shoulders hunched, holes in the elbows of his jumper, a cane fishing rod in his hand, and eyes fixated on the water. Just occasionally the eyes focused on a single piece of flotsam, but not once did the boy turn his head and meet the eyes of the soldier, who by now had moved to within 6 feet of his side. Are they biting today? The boy remained silent. I have a boy back home. He likes fishing too. We used to go together, but now he also fishes alone. May I sit? The boy shifted slightly, appearing a little uneasy. I'm supposed to hate you? The soldier remained impassive, except for a sharpness of pain in his blue eyes and an escaping sadness of a drawn-out sigh. But it didn't escape the boy, who raised his head a little. What's your boy's name? Gunter. His name is Gunter, after my father. And your name? The boy lowered his head again. Do you miss him? My father is away. He can't come back to the island because you are here. That is why I'm supposed to hate you. The soldier sat down beside the boy, his long legs reaching down the harbour wall. Heedfully he lit a cigarette, and with a practised ease blew smoke rings into the air between them. Yes, I miss him. It is hard, no, to be separated. The boy followed the smoke rings with eyes as grey as the sea, till they disappeared into a nothingness. Is that what hate is? A nothingness? It's Alan, the boy responded, slipping the fishing rod into the soldier's free hand. Not a fish was caught in that tangible afternoon, when son and father sat on the quayside, eyes levelled on the horizon, sharing the loneliness and distance of war.
Water of Life by Ashley Jordan. April showers wash away the grime of winter, all things fresh and new. Flowers brighten in the rain and drink the water of life.
Puddles by Mark Crittenden. Descending from bursting mists of darkened heavenly skies, the pores of Mother Nature's earthy crusts fill once more, replenishing with watery oil that cleanses her very wounds. Infected by the miasma of the once daily grind, a seed of life doth germinate, beneath reflecting smooth surfaces, mirroring windows to the world soon to be distorted by the rippling effects of monstrous childlike stomping, or havens for winged passers-by, to once again evaporate and infect the lifeless empty pores, until descending mists burst once more.
Water by Andrew Jeremiah. Rivers, occasionally through rocks inside, minerals of different colours.
Drought by Jan Hedger. The flowers were in despair, for the rains had failed again. The animals were in despair. No water to drink anywhere, and the people are desperate. The flowers are not blooming, the animals are not surviving, the crops are non-existent, and the children are dying. The world was despairing, helpless, yet helping. Such awful news everywhere. The earth was in despair, trying to catch the tears of mothers crying. For without the rain, tears was all it had to nourish the flowers. My response to all the recent unpleasantness in the world and the growing catastrophe in the Horn of Africa. Threads of Life by Pauline Faulkner. I feel as though I am in a very rough sea. There is no firmness under my feet. I am out of my depth in an alien and foreign environment, smashed ceaselessly against the rocks and never able to reach the shore. Waves crash relentlessly over me, and every time I feel firm ground, I am dragged back out to the cold and dangerous depths.
The Reunion by Ashley Jordan. Clouds heavy with rain embrace the ocean, shed salty tears at the reunion. The sea heaves and sighs. She knows they will soon part, although they vow that this time it will be different. Forces greater than themselves are at work.
The Waterfall by Mark Crittenden. Once trapped in narrow-mindedness and suspended in deep thought, tired and sorrowful in its sweeping loneliness, the eye of the river sheds its tears, cascading downwards in rapid formation, no longer stripped of its youthfulness, eternal beauty undefeated, of wintry iciness suspended temporarily in time, or free-flowing and running wild, crashing against the bedrock of hardened desires, resounding in a plethora of fine mist, carving away concealed retreats over eons of time, a refuge for safety or romantic twist entwined, the long-lost treasures of yesteryear, guarded by the lower water's watchful eye, vengeful to those unwillingly passing by, spiraled into a castigating vortex of this watery mind's eye, to resurface no more through the flowing tears of the elevating Tyne. Tyne originated from tin, a word that meant river in the local Celtic language.
Still Waters by Sue Ribbett. In the depths of the riverbed, the fish glide gracefully through the murky waters, searching quietly for their prey. Weaving through the weeds and reeds, swimming silently, fins flapping in tune, dancing in the shadows of the reflecting sun, a glimpse of light in a world of dark.
Tutting Tap by Yoro. Irritable, annoyed, drip, 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 on and on, a tutting tap.
Misty by Josie Lawson. Misty sea, rambling waves, vision I see whilst drinking tea, ghostly light in window pane. Could it be? Oh no, not again. Years ago in this very place I saw a man. He loved the sea, a great swimmer was he. Today I remember the ghosts of time have come to me, no longer sad, for they are glad they are together again. My mother and father. It is their anniversary. They married 3rd of November 1943 and parted when father died, 30th of November 1993. Mother was sad, but all words tell a story. When Mum found her heart again, she had left this world, 11th of February 2001. I still on occasion sense their spirits, for when love is born it remains forever. But life is about moving on, and so this misty look I see is of today, the weather associated with memory. I Saw by Ashley Jordan. I saw the camel flood beneath the turtle moon that lit the beach like noon, turned the ocean to blood, changed sand from gold to mud, December into June I saw. The storm-flecked breakers thud against the towering dune, collected driftwood strewn, leaning into the scud I saw. The River by Marie Newman. The river travels to the sea. It cannot flow up to the hill. It runs downhill or pushes through a ravine. How does it know which way to go? Where is the sea? And which sea is its destiny? It pushes its waters through the plains. Each drop knows where it goes, and nothing can hold it. It runs around obstacles, creates islets and islands, bends, depressions, glens, gullies and valleys. It eats away trees, creates canyons and waterfalls. Nothing can stop it until it becomes a part of the sea or an ocean. The waves wash the sand at my feet. They whisper, we used to be the Hudson River once, and we are the ocean now.
Talk About Water by Marian Alain. I went on a boat not long ago. We went up and down the river and I found it very interesting. I sat by the window and looked out at the lovely water. I found it very relaxing. When the boat stopped, we were able to walk up the steps and onto the front of the boat while it was sailing. The boat went through the lock, turned around, and then we came back.
The River by Sue Horncastle. The river winds its way, great depth, muddy slush and swelling currents. Fishes in the deep and boats gliding along as sails pass. Leafy trees bend over the sloshing river. Rocks stick out at every crevasse.
Water from Everywhere by Robert Brandon. There is no truth in the rumour that were the Mars polar lander to have found water on the red planet, our water bills would eventually be dramatically reduced. It takes 15 minutes just to send a radio signal 145 million miles to Earth. No, they tell me, we aren't going to bring the water back. We just want to find out if it's there. If it is, there's a good chance there'll be some form of life also. But hang on a millisecond, maybe Martians don't drink water. That's not the point, they retort, adding, you can't have life forms without water. So, you try and reason with the scientists. There is no sound coming from Mars. Well, there is, we just aren't hearing it. What happened to the pictures, I ask? Everyone remains silent. Another fault with the sound. Some years ago, an exploring probe landed on Venus. Almost immediately, audio and visual links were lost forever. Did someone, on Venus, switch them off? Anyone who breathes carbon dioxide, as they would on Venus, can't be all bad. It's just when they might get high on the clouds of sulfuric acid. Maybe it's time to stop invading other planets. After all, they wouldn't do the same to us. Or do they?
Streams of Living Water by Sue Horncastle. The sun rises high in the sky. Maybe hear the seagulls cry. Rushing winds and wintry snowfalls, flowers blooming and bending their heads, rain beating down on the roofs, moonlit stars twinkling, dogs barking, frogs leaping, and children dancing about, raindrops torrenting down, green grass and meadows spread, ducks on the pond and linnets singing, fruit on the trees, doves in the cots, and owls hooting, garrulous laughter and silence, candlelit table, church bells ringing, and large houses on the estate, God in his heaven and prayer, strident walks and exercises, cathedrals and churches unseen, meadows and fields spread about, lethargic and lazy and feeling half crazy for a great swim to keep it in trim. Great south winds blow, the sun shines brightly, and streams of living water flow.
The Eye of the Water by Garrett. The Red Sea, the Dead Sea, the salt stiffened sea. My heart is welled with loneliness, as the sea is brimmed with salt. As the tears fill up your eyes, my darling, in the pauses of the night. Yet when I cried, the rivers died.
A Cat Tripper by Jan Hedger. A cat went to the seaside one bright and sunny day, just to see what it was like. He didn't like the sand, it tickled his toes. He didn't like the sea, it tickled his nose. I'm not going there again, he said, as he haughtily stalked his way back to bed.
My Water Feature by Elizabeth Jury. In my garden there is a water feature, in the shape of a mythical creature. It takes the form of a beautiful mermaid, but she's made of stone, no need to be afraid. Water sprays out of the creature's mouth from a hole and trickles down her body into a large stone bowl. I love to close my eyes and listen as it falls to the noise. It is a very pleasant sound. It doesn't annoy. I am transported to a very different place, in my own little world, my own private space. I am travelling with this mermaid, exploring the deep blue sea. Then all too soon, I am brought crashing back to reality. I hear my 2 children as they return home from school. Archie and Amy, always playing the fool. They have disturbed me from my place for me, with cries of, "Mum, what have we got for tea?" But I know it is a place I can visit again. It is always sunny, it never rains. It is only in my garden. I just close my eyes and listen, and imagine the water as it glistens. I wonder where it will take me next time. Wherever it is, it will truly be mine.
The River by Robert Brandon. River raging, water pouring, streams are streaming, seas all seeing. River burst, people hurt, water strong, suffering long. From the tributaries, water gushing in my ears. Damn you, river, let me live. Suddenly, I'm free, clinging desperately to a tree. I throw myself onto the bank. My poor boat, it sank.
IQ by Jan Humphreys. Sky heavy with snow, the clouds are grey and heavy. Snow falls with delight.
The River by Debbie Phelps. It was a crisp Sunday afternoon, the early days of spring. The river was glistening as the sun shone down. As we walked closer, we can smell the waft of the slightly stagnant water. Empty beer bottles thrown in were bobbing about. I gave my children some bread to feed the ducks. I hope my youngest is careful that she doesn't fall in. She gets quite excited, she jumps about, so we stand slightly back. In the centre of the river, I wondered how deep it was. At the edge, I could see the stones just under the murky water. As my children throw the bread, the water makes ripples as it makes a little plop sound. As the water winds round the bend, people are playing poo sticks over the bridge, getting excited to see who will win. On the far bank, all the reeds are growing tall, waiting for the dragonflies to come. Here come the seagulls scrounging about. Now the ducks have had all the bread, they slowly swim off. Little waves spread out across the whole river, right up to the edges and out to the middle as they follow the ducks off.
Quenching by Jan Hedger. Waterfall, why do you fall so gently when the weather and season are tranquil? Pouring beauty into a still pool, caring, caressing with grace. Curtain of water swishing across the stage of a romantic play. when the weather is in full force, you cascade over the rocks in full spate, bouncing, racing, wild and impatient, tumbling head over heels, throwing yourself with complete abandon into the raging turbulence, whipping up foam like egg whites. It is only a cold winter's snap that halts your frantic pace. I wonder, am I really asking the question of the waterfall, or am I thinking of myself? Waterfalls, indicative of life, pour out your emotions and quench this growing thirst of mine till my cup overflows with your sweet water. Music by Nigel Wilkins.
The Gift of Water by Mandy Sohn. Winter, when temperatures can plummet real low, water freezes, giving ice, bringing snow. Temperatures rise, snow starts to thaw, pearl drops of melted snow drop to earth's floor. Pristine snow becomes murky mush, solid crystals become slimy slush. Trying not to slip on the patchy black ice, journey home not very nice. Eventually blessed with journey's end, water becomes a much welcomed friend. From a steaming mug of coffee to warm your inside, to a warm soapy bath in which you can hide. Clutching hot water bottle close to your chest, you thank God that with the gift of water you are blessed. To learn more about grassroots open writers, please visit our website www.grow.btck.co.uk or phone or text 07932 231 491 and request a copy of our latest newsletter.